The endorsement.
All right, we'll keep going circles circles on this one. Now let's talk about something else.
Yes, please.
Yes. Where the two of you, the two senators, are part of the Ad-hoc committee. Members of the Senate Ad-hoc committee investigating the Shakahola massacre have been faulted for allegedly sponsoring themselves to tour controversial Pastor Ezekiel Odero's church, where he was cleared of operating a mortuary and a cemetery. But Bonnie Alwale had this to say about the trip that the two of you made. Let's listen.
In the history, Mr. Speaker, in the history of this country, no member of parliament or a group of members of parliament have ever sponsored themselves to meet the cost of discharging the mandate of a committee. It is in public domain. Pronouncement made by members of that committee who went to Shakahola, who went to the home of this witness, trying to persuade us that, forget it, we sponsored ourselves. Mr. Speaker, the same members have also persuaded us, in order to dissuade us from being more angry, that I can show you how I bought my own ticket to the rendezvous. Mr. Speaker, I beg that I don't be pushed further, because this is the first time. Mr. Speaker. Order, senators. Mr. Speaker.
Senator Boni.
This is...
Senator Boni. There is a cardinal rule. Order, senators. Senator Mgatana, as the chair, I'll give you an opportunity. I'll give you an opportunity to speak after Boni. But Senator Boni, there is a cardinal rule that he who alleges proves. So don't feel like you're being pushed far. You're already there.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I just wanted to conclude by appealing to the eye in our minds, that the only other ad hoc committee that captured the imagination of this country almost to the level of the one of Shakahola was when J.M. Kariuki was...
Okay, how was this trip procured?
First of all, you know, I am usually, like, I want to talk here as a young person, because I have served in two very serious ad hoc committees in Parliament. I'm a first-term senator. I was put in the ad hoc committee that, or rather a special committee that looked into the issues of Meru County, when, you know, the governor of Meru, Kawira Mwangaza, was brought to the House as somebody who was, you know, supposed to be impeached according to the wants of the MCAs of Meru, and I served with Bonnie Alwale, and right now I'm also serving in Shakahola, and this is character assassination, and I think that some of these senior politicians, and I'm with a lot of respect to Senator Bonnie Alwale, I think they get credit on sensationalism. And you know, things that tend to make headlines.
How did you?
That I have to frame for you why. Because the answer is very simple. Okay, and the reason why I have to caution this is because the issue of Shakahola is a very emotive issue. Is one of the biggest massacres that has ever happened in this country. Just to compare to you, in the bomb blast that we ever had the biggest one in this country in 1998, about 234 people died. On this, we are talking about over 500 people dead. So trivializing it in a characteristic of normal politics is very bad. The truth is, when a committee is put in place, they have a mandate and they have run out of funds. Okay? Members can be able to use their own money and claim them, and sometimes not even when they run out of funds. Bonnie Alwale was my chair when we were doing Kawira Mwangaza. Ask him, when you meet him, whether he gave me money and facilitated my transport when we were going to do our reports in Windsor. I facilitated myself to Windsor. I was paid later by Parliament. The Shakahola committee that you are seeing ran out of money. And in standard procedure, that's why the speaker ruled that these are procedural issues. In a procedure, the members of that committee that can be able to afford, by the way, can pay for themselves, go and deal with the matter at hand, come and claim their dues.
Okay.
And I don't know why Boni is singling out the going to Ezekiel and deliberately ignoring that these same members that is throwing aspersions on and imputing improper motive on are members who paid for themselves to go to Ezekiel's place, but they also paid for themselves to go to the Kilifi Security Committee to go and do investigations there. And even just a day before yesterday, the same members paid for themselves without Parliament facilitating them to go to DCI and do the same investigations in the National Forensic Lab that they were there for 5 hours in. Why are they not talking about that? That's what I'm talking about, sensationalism to be able to make headline news.
Okay.
There is, these members used their own money, and there is money that they rightfully claim.
Okay.
And by the way, I want to tell you how serious this issue was, because some of us who could not be able to afford at that time to buy our tickets did not go. If it was facilitated by Ezekiel Odero, then it would have meant that all members could go. I personally could not be able to afford a ticket to Mombasa, and I had to tell other members that please go and represent us. Whatever you will be able to find out, we will support as a committee.
Okay.
So this is something, and the issue we are investigating is a very serious issue that we feel as members of Parliament that we've got a responsibility to reach.
Go out of your way.
Go out of our way to get to the matter. And the core thing is that the members of this committee have not only facilitated themselves to one place, they have facilitated themselves to 3 different places without Parliament being able to support them.
Okay.
Because they want to get to that.
Very much of part of this Shakahola team.
Yeah.
And I want to say that it is very sad for a whole seasoned senator, a member of Parliament like Boni Alwale, to be out of order in Senate. It's only that he rose on a point of order. And the standing orders are very clear. When a senator rises on a point of order, you cannot rise on another point of order. So he started all the ranting that is started. And long story short, the speaker ruled and said, this is not a plenary issue and an administration issue. He was completely out of order, such a seasoned a leader like him. Now, back to the facts of it. Shakahola is a very sad issue. As a committee, our report will go down to the history of this Parliament on the report that we are putting in place, which we are tabling today. It is very sad. Kenyans lost their families because of one man, Mackenzie, who still is in jail. We had stakeholders who appeared before us. One of these key stakeholders, now to be more precise on that particular date of Friday, was one Pastor Ezekiel and the DCI. The DCI's request was to do their submissions in camera, which was granted by the committee. And in that process, they requested, out of the questions that we really asked, they requested, please, Senate, find time and visit our lab and come and see the challenges that we have. Because we were questioning, why is this not happening? Why this? I don't want to talk so much because the report should be tabled today. But the invite came from DCI. The same invite came from one Pastor Ezekiel. And it was open. And we had nothing to hide because we had even welcomed the media when the DCI came. But after that request, then we said, fine, in camera. When Ezekiel came, we did it openly to the cameras. And he did that request. Now, this is the point. The committee is a special committee which has a timeline, and the timeline had even lapsed. We requested a committee for an extension. Let me tell you, Trevor, we sit in the same committee with the 2 committees with the senator, and the work in Parliament is a lot. There is no way we would even be wanting to add ourselves more work. It's very tedious, very tedious. So even when the time lapsed, we felt we are not really exhausted. We requested for more time. The response was there are no more funds. So the match we can do is 14 days, which of course was not ready, but we tried to rush within those 14 days. So when Ezekiel left, they left, the team, the stakeholders left on Friday. So then we asked the clerk, is it possible to facilitate us this trip so that we can be able to move? By Monday morning, we'll be there. Either we move on Sunday night, we arrive on Monday, or something like that. discussion started, but it being a weekend, it was a bit challenging because documents have to move. Yeah. And on Tuesday, we had already summoned Mackenzie himself to be able to appear, and the pathologist to be able to appear. So on Tuesday, it was really packed. So the only day that was left was Monday, because Wednesday, yesterday, we sat until 11 p.m. Okay. Members of Parliament, senators sat until 11 p.m. so as to adapt the report, because this issue is a very sensitive issue. Okay. That is why, as leaders, as representatives of the people, we went out of our way to ensure we give Kenyans the right information. And so, yes, we went, we represented, and McHugh, we called in the media. We told them...
Facilitated by Pastor Odero himself. That's a lie.
Zero facility. We even called them. Otherwise, then, actually, then it would have been even more 5-star or 7-star of it all. It was not the case. Okay. But what was important is that what Kenyans need to understand, we wanted to get the facts of the truth. Right. We were there, we had an opportunity. So we are even more privileged when we are doing this reporting. We are more informed. Okay. We went to the DCI. We called the same media. Okay. How comes it has not much more come to light? And number two, ours is to interrogate, ours is to get the views so that we can better. What the focus should be on the Kenyans we are even questioning in terms of why are the bodies of the kings who lost their loved ones, the bodies have not been released because of the challenges we have on DNA, something that the pathologist was supposed to respond and he did not appear.
All right.
Yes.
Hassan, because you're not part of the Senate, but you're seeing this from...
Trevor, I am very confused.
Yeah.
I haven't got any clarity from the two senators who are on this committee. It's just getting very bizarre here. I have been in Parliament for 4 terms, and never have I paid for my own ticket to undertake any parliamentary activity, because I think that is irregular and somehow puts a serious question mark about our independence and our ability to carry out our work independently. How come a suspect has invited the parliamentary committee that is investigating the case? Because this pastor is one of the suspects in this particular case. It just seems weird that, in fact, our Senate can be invited by this person and they buy their own ticket to go there. It just doesn't add up. There's something just not pleasant about this particular case, because this Shakahola issue is a major tragedy that we need to really seriously investigate, bring the culprit to book, and develop policies and framework for future prosperity in order to be able to avoid, make recommendations about what we must not do and what we must do in order we don't repeat this Shakahola incident. Okay. But now, this whole thing is shrouded in some mystery, given the fact that I don't see it right that the Senate could buy its own tickets to accept an invitation from a suspect. Okay. Why?
Okay. Yeah. All right. Before we listen to Rabumbu, let me listen to Mungatana as well. So Mungatana spoke about this. The 2 senators are part of that ad hoc committee, so you'll answer all the questions right after this. Okay. We'll get back to that in just a bit. But Honorable Mbui, you have questions for the 2 senators.
Yeah.
You respond to them. Just write them down.
Let me just say that this Shakahola issue is a strange issue because it's bizarre. It even started with people being brainwashed to a level where they would go and kill themselves. So I think that is still continuing. That issue has not that issue has not ended. But then, for me, fundamental issues have been raised by the 2 senators here. That Senate committee ran out of money and that they had to fund the trip themselves. I want to believe them because the speaker and the clerks would have said that's not true, and they didn't say that. So I want to believe them. So that again now raises fundamental questions: is the Kenya Kwanza government broke? Because we have right now, I'll tell you that they've borrowed within this last year they've been in office at the highest rate since independence. Again, they've also taxed us more than ever before. How can they not have money to, to be able to give to to Parliament to be able to carry out their mandate? And I'll tell you this, Trevor, it is true that Parliament doesn't have money to run their offices. We have offices in the constituencies. There is no money that has been given for a lot of the activities that are taking place there. So I'd want to say that the main problem is likely to be the management, financial management under the Kenya Kwanza administration. That is what is putting Senate in the position that they're in.
Okay, let's listen to Mugatana now. I'll come to you to respond.
From the DCI, and a request from Pastor Ezekiel that was made that we make a visit so that whatever evidence they were giving us, which was crucial evidence, Mr. Speaker, we would see for ourselves the challenges and the issues that were there. So, Mr. Speaker, after the meeting, we sat as senators, and Mr. Speaker, I take full responsibility for this. We sat as senators, and most of us, the majority of us, except those who were absent, we said, look, our time for this committee comes to an end on Thursday. And this is Friday night. We have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Wednesday, Mr. Speaker, today, we have been interacting with the report. We came here, but we'll go back until we finish. Tuesday, Mr. Speaker, we had given summonses to witnesses who had not come so that they can appear. So the only practical day was Monday. And Mr. Speaker, because the members were there, I made the decision that we shall visit the DCI and we shall visit the Pastor Ezekiel. And while we were in Kilifi, we shall visit the County Security Committee after we finish with Ezekiel. Mr. Speaker, we then asked our clerk of the committee to go and seek the normal procurement procedures. In fact, Mr. Speaker, I also made a phone call to our clerk, the clerk of the Senate, to ask him if he can make urgent arrangement for travel for us. While we were waiting, because it was evening, we said there's only one day remaining for us to be able to cover the cost and to cover DCI. We then agreed that if it is possible, in the normal manner of operations, we can go up and beyond our call of duty to visit DCI and visit the Security Committee in Kilifi and visit Emmanuel. And Mr. Speaker, we then traveled, Mr. Speaker, with the understanding that in the event that procurement procedure is not to have been complied with, once we come back, we shall regularize, as is always the case. Mr. Speaker, it's not...
He has explained all of it,
yes.
But there's something that Honorable Yusuf Hassan raised. Don't you find it strange that the Senate Ad-hoc Committee visits a suspect, after the suspect invites them, they even go the extra mile to buy their own tickets to go and visit the suspect? Why didn't you even do it earlier then?
First of all, Honorable Yusuf, don't you find it strange that this committee goes to visit DCI after DCI invites them?
Yes. Don't
Don't you find it strange that this committee goes and visits Kilifi Security Committee at its own expenses?
No.
The reason why, wait, this is a rhetorical question. The reason why you find it strange is because you don't know the gravity of what these suspects hold. Okay? You call a suspect in a committee, they do presentation on the question that you have for them, matters arise that you need to be able to verify. For instance, one of the biggest issues that is with this, because now they are fixated on this Ezekiel character, and not now they want now to ignore the DCI and the Security Committee in Kilifi, who are interacting with the information around this issue time immemorial. The Kilifi Security Committee had, in a number of instances, received information about Shakahola, did not act on some things. The CS himself has been on camera, that some of them even were suspended. So people are liable here. But on this Ezekiel character, Trevor, Ezekiel is one of the people that there were claims that is in charge. There is a mortuary, that people are being killed and put in that mortuary. There are claims about human sacrifices being done in this place. If this matter arises in a committee, how else do you verify something like that? DCI, and the many things I cannot say because DCI information were in camera, as my sister has told you here, because of the sensitivity of the matter. They're actually holding the biggest kind of files. They have got over 200 files of evidence that links the main character with this issue, and they're trying to construct things. And if you look at the work the DCI has done, Trevor, we went to the forensic lab, and the work that these guys have done in terms of even exhuming the bodies, trying to connect the DNAs of people, trying to construct how people were killed. All that information can skip the mind of a parliamentarian who is not in this committee because of the gravity. And if the DCI invites us that, you see, you are claiming that we haven't brought Mackenzie to book and having prosecuted, but come and see what we are dealing with in our lab. Come and see the magnitude of changes we are facing with being able to confirm some of these bodies. Come and see the kind of infrastructure that we have and that we lack, that is making us not deal with some of these things on time. Why would we not go there as a committee?
But there's a difference, Eddie. DCI and administration is investigating agency and their government. Ezekiel is a suspect. When a suspect invites you, there's a big difference. And then you go after they've invited you.
No, but
even the perception it creates, Eddie. It's not. We're not grasping any. You're not obliged to go and visit a suspect.
No,
tell you that you come.
We did not visit a suspect. We visited a place which...
Had you planned... Okay, let me bring in Mutinda.
Yes.
You're both in this.
Yeah, I'm just finishing, but...
Had you planned to visit the Ezekiel Odero's place without the invite? If he had not asked you to go,
by the way,
you have gone.
By the way, the committee have made a number of requests before, because, initially we were facilitated to only get to Shakahola. And we had actually petitioned in the committee, it is a matter that is unanswered, that one of the prime suspects in these issues that we think that we should visit their premises was Ezekiel. And the issue of budget kept on coming up. But now, because the suspect himself had put it before Kenyans, let me ask you, Trevor, if Ezekiel had made that request before the people of the country, and he has got a platform where he's in Senate and he's saying that, you guys are accusing me that I've got a morgue in my place. You guys are accusing that people are dying in my church. Why are you accusing me and you have not come there? And then we do for you a report that then says that there are people, there's a morgue in Ezekiel's place. I mean, we will look ridiculous as a committee because there's nothing that you've confirmed there.
On this. As a member of the Ad-hoc committee.
Yes, because let me tell you, Trevor, and up to date, I still really, I'm very saddened by this issue. Kenyans lost lives. And we had an opportunity in camera to see videos, Trevor, that you would not want to see because it is sad. And that is the perspective that we are coming from. We had the privilege to see reality. It was very touching and very sad. And the decisions we made for the benefit of the people of Kenya. This is not a political issue. This is an humanitarian issue. We had even put that we wanted to see Mackenzie in prison. But we were told to wait because we wanted to face the bull by its own. We even summoned Mackenzie, and in our Friday meeting when we were starting the session, the report from the chair was that the officer, the prison had objected, had refused, and when we pronounced it on camera that is wrong, I can tell you on Saturday, that is a staff on Saturday. He was given the summons, and I have proof that he signed. The only disadvantage is of which we understand, is that his lawyer said that the time was short. It needs 1 month preparation because he's a high profile, person in this case, and so security needs to be arranged. So the 1 day was a challenge, and further to that, they even said they had financial challenges because that's a suspect that needs to be flown in town. So these are a suspect that we were willing from the beginning to do what it takes to ensure we are there for the sake of Kenyans, because we have had the privilege to be on Shakahola and see in our own naked eyes the reality. We've sat with the security. They've put the naked truth. We have the information. We were able to see. When you're in that shoe as a leader, you have to go an extra mile to be able to ensure you get the best report. Now, we worked up to 11 p.m. yesterday. Why is it not on the media? Is it because we wanted to be paid extra? No, because we want to have a tangible report that will go to the archives of Parliament with our names.
Okay.
With our facts.
All right.
Yes.
Trevor, this is a very issue of great importance to our nation.
Yes.
It is one of the biggest tragedies of our times. And it is a heavy matter. It is a matter of gravity. Okay. So the way this thing seems to have been handled is kind of surprising in many ways. One would ask, why didn't they summon Pastor Ezekiel to Nairobi instead of accepting his invitation to go there?
Point of order, Ezekiel. He was here on Friday, unless you're not watching news.
So the reason when going there, you're going there on his invitation, you're going there on his own terms. He would have cleaned up the place. He would have organized for them what he wanted them to see. And they would have come with the conclusions that he would have wanted to come with. Secondly, if this matter is so important to us, why have they not asked for an extension of the investigation? Why do we have this rush? I'm not surprised. So I think what I've had from the two senators is that there was a poor judgment here. It was wrong to go to Ezekiel. It is not the same thing to go to the DCI and to Kilifi, because those are legal entities. They're government institutions in which we react all the time with, interact with. And therefore, I think the position of the committee is compromised and tainted by going to see and giving credence to a suspect.
Okay.
Trevor, allow us in 1 second. We have not come out and said that we've cleaned up, Ezekiel and all that. It was open. It was in camera. We were able to see. We looked for the mortuary. We were not able. But let me update. He was not even invited. Let me update my honorable member of Parliament, Kamukunji. We summoned Ezekiel to appear. And we are grateful because he honored the summons and appeared as a suspect.
He didn't honor you.
He appeared.
He is required by law.
No, wait. Because our own pathologist of this country refused to appear. Who is a government official? He refused to appear. Who holds very key information to the families who are asking, please give us our people so that we are able to bury. Pathologist of Guru, wait, he refused to appear. But this suspect appeared. We put questions and out of the extension of a welcome note to verify. Number 2, the extension. Yes, ad-hoc committees or any special committees can request for extension. Mheshimiwa, we have stated that our time lapsed. We seeked for an extension. But there was no. An extension was only granted for 14 days, due to lack of funds. We've stated that clearly. Everything is open.
And you see his point.
NB,
when you go to a suspect invite you and you go at the time they've invited you, they can easily orchestrate the things that they want you to.
Number 3, just let me finish. On the same note, we didn't look at what the chair said. We didn't have time. The only time we had to visit was only one day, which was Monday.
So did you walk through the entire piece of land? Because it's thousands of acres.
We walked through the buildings that he was able to show us.
Exactly.
Yes.
Because he had invited you. So
yes.
No. Trevor, let me tell you something. I don't think that is the duty of Mutinda or myself to keep the honorable senator, updated about what's about.
You're talking to the Kenyans. It's not about.
No, but
it's like we're updating him.
No, I'm
responsibility to the people who elected.
He has misinformed the same Kenyans I'm talking to. Trevor.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. He has misinformed the same Kenyans I'm talking to.
I've just asked
He's not aware.
He's not aware.
I've asked questions.
You've made comments.
You see, the issue of Shakahola, okay? When we visit Kilifi Security Committee, we treat them as suspect. If anybody is culpable for having concealed any information to Kenyans or having facilitated the activities that Mackenzie did, where that person is working for Kilifi Security Committee as a government, they are suspect in this matter. DCI, under our laws, DCI has got a responsibility to detect and protect us from crime. If DCI, in any case, slept on their job and made it possible for people in Shakahola to die, then they are suspects. Okay? So when this committee, everybody we are visiting and everybody we are interacting with, we are getting information that did enable or led to the inaction of government or any other individual to this matter. So the same way we are treating DCI or the Security Council is the same way we are treating Mackenzie, and is the same way we are treating all these people. It's only that other people have got more responsibility, like Mackenzie. And you can't come and start throwing aspersions that now Ezekiel is a suspect, and the people in Kilifi who are in security at that time are not suspect. They are suspect.
Yes.
And even the CS
really round out of time.
has actually indicated that.
But just in one line, Mungatana accused his majority whip Kalwali of being used to taint the committee. Is that the feeling?
And I started by that submission that is actually the feeling that I'm getting as a young parliamentarian who is giving his life on the issue of Shakahola and working so hard. And I think also, apart from just being used, they get it as a place for politics to score some political point, which is very unfortunate, to play points with people who have died.
It is sad. Women have lost lives, families have lost, children have died in Shakahola. As leaders, we go out of our way to ensure this is brought to total justice. So seasoned leaders rising up, and the speaker ruled, that's an administration issue. It was completely out of order, and it is very sad for Kenyans to see a leader coming out and not really supporting for the truth to come out. What are we protecting?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for making time. We ran out of time. They're coming up next is cooking tips in just a short while. Bye for now.